praise to Yahweh in the name of His Son, Yahweh Shai, in the name of the Holy Spirit. Double honors to my elders, apostles, and the bishops of Great Millstone, or GMS for short. All right, this is where I have learned this truth and where I am still learning this truth. And also shalom to the remnant and the elect of Israel, Lord willing, I'm of that number. All right, this is going to be part 3 of this topic. All right, where we're reading a article titled, What Will a U.S. Central Bank Digital Currency Look Like? Okay, we're reading this because of a prophecy, right, that has not yet come to pass, but is on its way. All right, this prophecy is in Revelation 13, verses 16 and 17. And more so now within the reading of this article. All right, well, I was going to say it's more focused on 17, but really you do need both of these verses to understand. All right, so we're filtering this article through the scriptures, asking what is the correlation? Is there a relationship in this step before we get to the MOTB itself? All right, can you see the relation between this step and actually being made mandatory? All right, as the CB or as the MOTB. All right. So in other words, will the parameters of this, can you see these being carried over? All right. Can you see all things associated with this technology, uh, with with this CBDC being carried over into the micro CHIP? All right. Despite the name surrounding this technology, all right, can you see this technology being on a global stage and being made mandatory? All right. Being made mandatory so that you can still take part of society. All right, the buying and selling of goods. All right, the buying and selling in order to maintain a roof over your head, food on your table, transportation, admittance into hospitals. Right, admittance into we might have all right, future safe cities. What if the 15-minute cities that we are rumored to know about? All right, what if these things grow in popularity and they are made into sanctuary cities or safe cities? In order to gain entrance into these safe cities, what if you need this MOTB? All right, this could be a baby step, or even if it's not a baby step, this could be a step toward the fulfillment of this prophecy. All right, you can see the methods that are going to be used to get these CBDCs through completely. Okay, you can see those same policies being used, or can you see the same policies being used to push the ultimate goal, what these people want? All right, which is that micro CHIP. Okay, all right. So CBDC will start off as just the using of the buying and selling of goods. All right, can you see the micro CHIP being the CBDC on steroids? Not only the buying and selling of goods, but access to hospitals. All right, safety. All right, access to saving the planet. Being tracked, having your carbon footprint tracked. All right, access to showing an ID so you don't get deported. All right, even though they know you're of a country, if you don't have this thing, guess what? They can take you and ship you. Can you see laws like this being made? All right, so all we're saying is filter what you hear in these news articles about the next step. All right, the next money step. All right, because the whole world is affected by currency, regardless of what you call it. All right, so what is the next step in currency? All right, every country has its fiat currency. Okay, fiats are about to go away. What is next? Digital. Okay, on a blockchain, on something that can be tracked worldwide. Okay, what if they get rid of this and say, all right, we have to go a step further. We have to consolidate all these things into one thing. So here is the micro C hip. All right, can you see it progressing? That's the question you should be asking yourself. Filter all things through these scriptures, and Lord willing, all right, He will allow you to have faith. He will grant you an eye salve. He will grant you understanding. He will put the right men in front of you that will guide you to the truth. All right, the right watchmen in front of you. All right, so that is what we're doing, and this is part 3. So, it being part 3, I would hope, all right, that you would show some type of order and go back to part 1, watch part 2, watch part 3. All right, unless you have enough of a foundation to pick right up on part 3 and know where we're at. All right, but if you come into this feeling like you're confused, you don't know what we're speaking about, all right, if you come into this just disagreeing automatically about what is being said, go back to part 1, man. Part 1, part 2, part 3. Have some type of order. All right. Disorder, confusion, okay? This is what has the world in this position. All right. So start showing order, man. Okay. So let's read this prophecy first, and we'll go right back into the article. All right. So Revelation 13, verse 16 and verse 17. And He causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell save he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. All right. If you need more, if you want a little bit more of an insight on what we just read here, if you have no idea, if you are still in the dark about these things, it's okay. Go back to part 1, then part 2, and part 3, and so on and so forth. And know that there is more truth out there. We're only speaking about this prophecy. You know how many more things are in these scriptures that you need to know? Let's go to Romans 15:4 again. All right, so some things are coming on this earth, man, that is going to cause men to crumble. All right? Because they're not prepared. Okay? The Lord is preparing us in spirit. All right? We know what is coming. All right? And when I say that, I do not mean that we know that this cbdc is coming. Something could happen to where they skip this whole thing. Okay? But we know that this prophecy is coming because everything in these scriptures are faithful and are true, as the Lord is faithful and true. All right? We're just looking at the in-between. We're warning people. Look at this technology. Get used to it and start paying attention to it. Okay? And know not to receive this thing into your body, man, no matter what. All right? These threats that they make are not going to be empty. They are not going to be empty. But your only protection against this time that is coming is the Lord. Everyone else is just done. For lack of, I could say a lot more words, but you're done, all right? We'll just leave it there. You're done, okay? All right, Romans 15:4. For whatsoever things were written aforetime were written for our learning, that we, through patience and comfort of the scriptures, might have hope. All right. Okay. So take heed, man. Take heed. Time is short. All right. The night is far spent. Okay. Let me see if I can find that scripture really quick. Hey, Romans 13:12. The night is far spent. The day is at hand. Let us therefore cast off the works of darkness and let us put on the armor of light, this truth, all right, this faith, okay, which is all a gift of Yahweh, Bahashim Yahweh Shai, okay. Um, Also, might as well read Revelation 1 and 3, okay. Revelation 1 and 3, blessed is he that readeth, and they that and they that hear the words of this prophecy, and keep those things which are written therein. For the time is at hand. The time for what? All right, the time for all of these things to come to pass. The rest of these things to come to pass. All right. We got the famine of the word, which everybody's gonna be looking for, the truth. After it's too late, everybody's gonna be looking for the truth. Everybody's gonna be searching for Yahweh and Yahweh Shai, which are the truth. All right, and His word. Okay. So the famine of hearing the word. All right, you can get online now and hear this thing. You may have to receive that mark to get online later. If you receive that mark, it's not going to matter if you hear the truth or not. It's over for you. All right? These things are plenty. They are at your hand, at your fingertips right now. This is called the information age. Yes, there is a lot of bad things. There are a lot of bad things on the internet. But if you use it for what the Lord put it here for, all right? If you use it for the good, if you use it for the things that you are searching for, all right, it's there. All right, but people are that lazy. All right, that word convenience is going to cause a lot of people to take this microchip. They know that, and we know that. All right, when I say they, I mean the wicked, the he that causeth all. Okay. So again, Romans 13 and 12. The night is far spent, the day is at hand. Let us therefore cast off the works of darkness. All right, come up out of that darkness, come up out of that confusion into this light. See the truth for what it is and walk in it. Okay, the night is far spent, the day is at hand. Let us therefore cast off the works of darkness and let us put on the armor of light. Okay, so we're going to read a little bit more of this article. We're going to start in this section of the article, and it's titled "Understanding a U.S. cbdc." Okay, so again, we listen to these things and ask yourself, is there a correlation between this, right, and the next step leading to these prophecies, or this exact prophecy? All right. So again, if I didn't make it clear, the cbdc is not the mark of the beast. All right, we're just looking at these steps, looking at this technology, pointing out possible pathways to the prophecy. All right, because there may come a time, if World War III starts, knocks all communication off, at least you know this. At least you've went and looked at this and you're expecting, all right, this technology to come around. Because it may be surrounded by different names. And it's going to be presented in all different types of ways. All right, so start focusing on your salvation now, man. The night is far spent. Okay. What the MOTB is a micro C hip, a RFID C hip. The technology itself is not sin, but the receiving of this thing into your body is where the problem is, all right? You won't find a scripture saying after this that you'll be able to repent. But there are scriptures that give some pretty plain adjectives if you take this thing. All right, indignation. All right, wrath. Okay, noisome and grievous sore. Okay, torment. Torment and fire and brimstone. All right. So again, this section of the article reads understanding a U.S. CBDC. It says, even the Federal Reserve acknowledges the technological innovation of digital assets as a form of money. But the Fed warns that there are risks that might leave customers vulnerable to theft and fraud, despite its understanding of the potential. A US CBDC would present similar pros and cons. Now, just in that right there. All right, you still are vulnerable to theft and fraud. So naturally, what would be the next thing? Okay? To where you can't have theft or fraud. To have this technology placed within you. That way it still is not on you. Okay? Or put up in some safe. Or on a phone where somebody can hack it. This is how this thing is going to be presented. All right? Peace and safety. But like we went over in part 2, never trust thine enemy. Okay? It goes on and says the Fed must be satisfied that it is a safe digital asset accessible to the public before it launches a US CBDC. Peace and safety. Now they care enough. All right? Do they have no stakes in this thing? Do they really care about the people? Again, go look up what the Fed, all right, or the Federal Reserve is. A lot of people still, I didn't even know. Okay? I didn't ever look at these things. You would think that the Federal Reserve was a national, uh, uh, a governmental thing. It's not. Okay? Go look that up. All right, again, it says the Fed must be satisfied that it's a safe digital asset accessible to the public before it launches a US CBDC. It must determine that it's without credit and liquidity. Liquidity. All right, hold on a second. All right, it must determine that it's without credit and liquidity risks and that it's privacy protected, intermediated, transferable, and identity verified. Pay attention to these words that they use. It's going to be the same thing rolled over when this MOTB comes on the scene and is made mandatory, right? And I mean comes on the scene as in known, famous, that this thing is mandatory now. All right, it's going to be a global thing, global. All right. It says privacy protection implies safeguarding consumers' privacy rights as well as impeding criminal activity. Oh, and that verse is Sirach chapter 12 and verse 10, I believe. Let's go see. Let's go see really quick. Yeah, Sirach 12 and 10. Okay. And then after that would be Sirach 12 and 16. All right. Okay, I'll read them for you. Sirach 12 and verse 10, it says, Never trust thine enemy, for like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness. Sirach 12 and 16, An enemy speaketh sweetly with his lips, but in his heart he imagineth how to throw thee into a pit. He will weep with his eyes, but if he find opportunity, he will not be satisfied with blood. All right. I'll go ahead and read 17 also. If adversity come upon thee, thou shalt find him there first. Remember, he causeth. It goes back to that Greek word poieo, right? To make ready, and so at the same time to institute. Again, Sirach or Ecclesiasticus 12 and 17. If adversity come upon thee, thou shalt find him there first. And though he pretend to help thee, yet shall he undermine thee. All right? This man is slick, sly, cunning. All right? Wicked. Okay? The evil one. The man of sin. All right? It says intermediated means that the Federal Reserve would permit the management and payment of CBDC via digital wallets and accounts offered in the private sector, including commercial banks and non-banks. Transferable means that the CBDC will be accessible to U.S. customers regardless of the intermediaries they use, making payment more efficient. Identity verified protections aim to prevent money laundering and the financing of terrorism by verifying whoever adopts the CBDC. Is funny because a lot of money laundering, all right, happens in the government level. Okay. Do you think they are going to be checked by the rules of these CBDCs? All right. How stable is your government? Okay. It says the Federal Reserve's goals for a CBDC take households, businesses, entrepreneurs, and consumers into account by offering more uses and efficiency than fiat or other supplementary monetary options. All right, they're going to dangle that carrot. All right, they're going to dangle that carrot out in front of you. Okay? Telling you that you'll be able to gain access to this, but what are you losing? A lot of people are just looking at that carrot. All right? So this next part of the article reads requirements for a US CBDC. It says specific requirements must be satisfied before the US issues a digital currency to the public. Some of these developed through years of intensive study by policymakers and Federal Reserve staff include, all right, so this thing is already being thought of. All right, so some of these developed through years of intensive study. This thing, when it comes on the scene, man, it's not going to be like they don't know what the hell is going on. Okay? Like I said, we are damn near already all the way into digital money. Okay? So it says, I'll read that little part again. It says specific requirements must be satisfied before the US issues a digital currency to the public. Some of these developed through years of intensive study by policymakers and Federal Reserve staff include, man, how stable is your government? When you find out who are the policymakers or the Federal Reserve staff, all right, the people making the rules for one. Just know at the top of that is Esau Edom, the wicked. All right. Would Israelites be involved in bringing this thing forward? All right. The answer is yes. All right. Israelites are scattered into all nations. Okay. And not all of them do exactly what they are meant to do. All right. Don't forget, over here in this country, there are 2/3 of Israel that are still Americanized, man. Still don't even know who they are, or maybe some of them do, and I don't know, play the role, man. All right. But yes, there are even Israelites that are taking part in pushing this thing forward, and will probably take part in pushing people into taking this thing. As a matter of fact, you can bet on uh, there are going to be Israelites taking part in pushing other Israelites to take this thing. Okay, whether it be CBDC or MOTB. All right, it says a U.S. CBDC must provide benefits to U.S. households. All right, peace and safety. They want to act like they have your interests at heart. All right, I'll start that over again. A U.S. CBDC must provide benefits to U.S. households, businesses, and the overall economy that exceed its costs and risks. And again, I don't mean to make it seem like we aren't going to have CBDCs. That's just going to be something that we just have to do. But when it comes to this MOTB, that's something that, Lord willing, I don't take. And Lord willing, you don't take if you are of the Lord's, all right? And the ones who are of the Lord's will not take it. All right, we just hope to be those whom are covered by the blood of Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, or the blood of Yahweh Shai, all right? So don't get it twisted. We're gonna, I mean, that digital thing is coming. We're all basically in the digital right now. So we're all gonna have CBDCs if this is a thing, all right? But when it comes to the MOTB, all right, you better just say no if the Lord allows you to. Lord willing, I'm of that number. All right. So it says it must yield these benefits more effectively than alternative fiat or physical money. All right. This sounds like a UBI or Universal Basic Income. All right. That could be one of the benefits. Okay. As long as they know you have the CBDC, they'll give you a UBI. All right. A certain amount of money each month or week or however they choose to do it. All right, and they're still trying to phase out this dollar. All right, there's a lot of places that still take cash. There's a lot of places who straight up refuse cash, and that's over here in the States. Okay, they're trying to get everybody on board to make this cash obsolete. Okay, it says the U.S. CBDC should complement rather than replace existing forms of money and methods for providing financial services. All right, never trust thine enemy. Okay. I mean, they could do that at first. They could complement it at first. But this thing is not put here to go alongside paper money. Okay. It's not here to take part. It's here to take over, in the words of Conor McGregor. All right. It is not, the CBDC is not here to take part. It's here to take over. All right. Yeah, it might complement the dollar at the beginning, but that's not the mission, man. Okay, it reads, it must protect consumer privacy and prevent criminal activity. They can't even stop people's data from getting hacked online now. How are they gonna? I don't know. They just promising you, all right, promising and promising you, just like these politicians promise you shit, and then before you know it, they out of there, and you ain't get close to what you thought they were gonna get, that you were gonna get. All right, they just promise shit just to get in there. All right. Lastly, in this video, it says it must receive support from critical stakeholders. All right. So we'll stop there for now. We're not done with this article. Lord willing, we'll get right back into this in the next upcoming videos. All right, but for now, I'm gonna cut it there. Let me look at this time really quick. Yeah, we'll cut it there for now. All right, but filter all things through the scriptures. All right, filter even yourself through the scriptures. That's first and foremost. All right, but filter all things through these scriptures, man. All right, the CBDC is not the MOTB, but pay attention to the technology. Pay attention to the wording. Start looking for these things, man, and reading. Start keeping your ear out for these things. How are they pushing these things forward? All right, that way, if the world collapses between now and then, you have some kind of sense of what to look for, what to listen for. All right, but filter these through Revelation. This article specifically, filter it through Revelation 13, verse 16 and verse 17. All right, again, the CBDC is not the MOTB. The MOTB is the micro CHIP or the RFID CHIP. And it is not the technology itself that is sin, but it is the receiving of this technology into your body where the problem lies. All right. So with that, call halal Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakaha Kwadash. Double honors to my elders, apostles, and the bishops of Great Millstone, or GMS for short. This is where I have learned this truth and where I am still learning this truth. And also shalom to the remnant and the elect of Israel. Lord willing, I'm of that number, and Lord willing, we'll see you in the next video. Shalom.